to help you guys tremendously with the metal roofing. I've been doing roofing. I've run and started roofing companies for over 25 years, so got a lot of knowledge and experience on it. Um, how many of you have you guys been selling any metal roofs? I know a couple of you have. Um, with that machine now, we're going to be able to, control it a little bit better, being able to make the panels ourselves in house. We're going to get to the point, hopefully in not too far near future, that we'll have the whole process with trim and everything in here. But one of the big things that we're changing now that you're going to be able to offer is two styles of standing seam snap block panel. The standard, what you guys have been doing, and what the only thing we've been offering is an 1.5-inch panel. It uses a clip system on it. The other one that we're going to be doing now, which is that pallet sitting on the floor, is a 1-inch panel without clips. Has anybody ever seen or done vinyl siding?
Is it like a panel series kind of?
Yeah, that's what we call a nail fin panel. Okay, so it doesn't have that clip. It's not as strong. After the storm and that happened, a lot of people were installing it because it's less expensive. And mostly more inland. If you guys have ones that, subdivisions, smaller houses, stuff like that, that panel is a great option for you. One of the things we had talked about before is kind of like a good, better, best scenario for people. Being able to give people options. And I mean, hell, if they want to put the aluminum 1.5-inch on, a mobile home, do it. They want to pay for it, hell yeah. We'll put anything on for you. Odds are they're not going to have the money. So that's where we want you guys to be able to have another tool in your tool belt, and that 1-inch Galvalume panel. Galvalume is the proper terminology for it. When you look and you see things in any literature, when on these decks, on the card charts, you have Galvalume and aluminum. Galvalume is steel. It's coated steel, is what it is. So some people, it's one of those things where, it's kind of like Kleenex, but Galvalume is the proper terminology for it. It's galvanized steel. It's the least expensive. And one good thing that just happened, I haven't told you yet because I just got the email yesterday. We actually just had a price decrease. 8 cents a square foot. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is in the long when you figure all the material out. So if any of you do have quotes out to anybody right now on any steel roofs, Galvalume, if you have that, tell Sarah, email Sarah, and I'll reprice it because it's going to drop. So 8 cents a square foot on a 30 square roof, you're going to still be dropping about $600-700 right off the bat. So I mean, it can help. That can make the difference on a job. Metal is a commodity. It fluctuates. So stock market does great and people are buying it, your price is going up. And when we have a storm, if we get another hurricane or something this year, the price is going. The price has dropped. Well, since Ian, I think we've had 3 price increases and 2 price drops. So when it's just supply and demand, it's like gasoline. See the price go up all the time. So that's one of the things that will fluctuate. But if you do, anytime, I always let Sarah know that once I get a new price from the mills, that because I do it for my customers up north. I reprice them. I have formulas. I have these sheets. Once you already have a price quoted that we did, I can go back in and change the price in about 30 seconds. So anybody that you have out that's old and they haven't, gone with anybody, let's reprice it for it. The 1 inch is that price point. So the 5V panel, which is called a 5V crimp, very cheap panel. It looks wavy whenever you put it on a roof because it just doesn't have very tall bends on it. Anytime you put a bend in a piece of metal, it'll strengthen it. You see they're flat. When we go to our panels, those are called striations. The striations stiffen the panel and make it strong. Try never to sell a flat panel. Some people might ask for it. Just make sure you let them know it will oil can. Oil can is that terminology for the waiver.
Does Sheffield provide a oil canning waiver?
No. That coil that's sitting on that trailer, that funny looking color, I did that on a church flat. That's what they want. There is no waiver. It does not affect the warranty of the material itself. Totally established. But people spending $25,000-$30,000 on a rig,
Exactly.
they're like, well, I didn't know it was going to look like that. And I always love whenever you go to a job, you're going to customer do an estimate, look at houses around you before you go up there, especially with metal. You can use a neighbor's house to upsell very easily. Someone has a 5V roof. Every one of them is wavy. Have you ever seen one not wavy?
Nope.
And that's how I would always do it. It's like, that's what your roof's going to look like. You see how wavy it is. That is oil can. That will never, ever go away. And it will only get worse because that panel cannot move. The advantage to a standing seam roof is it will move. Expansion and contraction. With the nail fin panel on there, I asked earlier if anybody who've ever seen or done any type of vinyl siding, you have a fin on the top that's covered. You put a nail in it, and then the next one snaps over it. This works the same way. And if you ever look down the side of a house and it's really wavy, it was nailed too tight. Should always be able to go up to vinyl siding and slide it. The reason is that you have laps and stuff on them, but you have that fin on there because of expansion and contraction. We know how hot it is down here every day. Things expand. When it does in the fall, wintertime, when it cools down a little bit, it's going to contract. That 5V panel cannot move. You have screws going through it. It's stuck. That's why they get wavier as time goes on. It's just that metal flexing.
How does the standing seam is put together?
So standing seam, that is one long panel. Okay, so from your eave metal down here to the top of the
That was
roof.
only like that wide, right?
What's up?
Each standing seam kind of
Depending on which style. So a 1 inch panel will be 16 inches wide. An inch and a half panel's 15 inches wide. We can custom make. I have engineers that say I want an 18-inch wide panel. We can do that. I can go up to 24 inches on that. Now, Sheffield and no other manufacturer on a standing seam will warranty it unless it's a mechanical seam. That's something later we'll talk a little about. But the difference is because it's one piece, it's one solid panel. So, how a standing seam metal roof basically works from beginning to end. The whole roof ends up being interlocked together. That's your big advantage in upselling from a shingle roof to and what we call a standard exposed fastener, which is the corrugated 5V roof. Okay. Those are all open-ended roofs. All of your ends are open. That so you've got a piece of drip edge. That's your starter piece on any roof, be it a shingle roof, a metal roof. That encloses the bottom edge of your roof. So that every roof we do starts the same way, like that. Standard exposed. I just call them the easiest thing is they're exposed fastener roofs. Doesn't matter which one you're going to do. You do a PVR panel, which is like, a structural panel, 5V, corrugated. Those are all exposed fastener. You have screws. You have washers that are going to dry rot and crack from the sun. If you look at the actual manufacturer's warranty on any exposed fastener roof, they have to be maintained every 5 to 7 years. Nobody does. Well, you have thousands, 3, 4, 5,000 potential leak spots on that roof. The way, even with the better screws that we use, it's like a cap, but there's a washer, and especially on that stupid panel, it sits on there, but it's open. Sun deflects off that metal and rots that wire.
With the fasteners that have that cap, they have to underneath the cap. Are those better than the difference being exposed?
Yeah, they are better, but it's
still sensibility.
Yeah, they still. The problem with the exposed fastener roofs, and again, I'm an analogy person. I love using analogies for everything to tell people to try to sell it. Expansion and contraction. If somebody has a fence outside their house and has screws in it, those screws work their way. Expansion and contraction. A little less in this part of Florida, but we still get into the 50s at night in the wintertime. And then you're 95 degrees right now. So things swell up. So the wood will swell up. Okay. Then it cools down at night and it shrinks. Expansion and contraction. That screw gets loose. You inspect a roof, an exposed fastener metal roof, and you're trying to sell, and you walk on it. You guys probably don't walk on that very steep. I'm old school. I still walk on it. But even from a ladder, I still suggest, just put the ladder up on the gutter if it's a single story. Get a couple pictures. I guarantee every single house you'll see that if that roof is over 5 to 6 years old, there are some screws that are sticking up. It's like, look, here's what happened. Okay. So that's going to happen on every single solitary exposed fastener roof that there. This piece of drip edge, is what every single one of your houses, doesn't matter what it starts with. Now, if it's a shingle roof, it's a little bit shorter, is the only difference. We make all of this. So right now we're using another person in town that I've set up with that I send him all the material except for your accessories. That stuff comes to our shop here. But we custom make all of this. My shop up in North Florida, we have all the machines, and 2 guys are in the shop and they make all of this. When you put that regular exposed fastener roof, so that's on every one of your guys' roof. Soft this wood deck that's here. That exposed fastener metal roof is going to sit over the edge, and that whole outside edge is open. That's why so many times during a hurricane, that wind hits and just peels that up because it's open. And on that roof, it's only 5/8, but that little hole, wind shoots up that panel and it lifts it.
Is it cold to? I know when you're using 5V system like that, you have to put down the backer on top of the drip edge. That's just that foam insert. Is that mandatory by code? Or?
It's each municipality is a little bit different. That seal strip, that foam seal strip in Florida does not last. It melts. Yep. You will see, any of them that you go to that are a few years old, and that's, you look up and it's like, oh, there's nothing there. No, it melted. It's gone. That's and it depends, and each municipality is a little different. So when you go to that standing seam roof, and all the standing seam panels that we do, if it's the 1 inch or the 1.5 inches, we install it the exact same way. When you start with this right here, that drip edge, one, there's screws that hold it down. And we have screws every 6 inches on this. That panel, it overhangs an inch, but it's folded and locked. That's why if you look and you see this part, it sticks out farther than your drip edge on a shingle roof or on the exposed fastener, because it is meant as a little cleat. Your panel locks into it. So you have panel, and it's locked into this piece. There's no open end now. So this gets interlocked here. Then, if it's a 1 inch, where you see where those nails are in it, then we're going to put these screws into that. And it'll go into the middle, and we don't put it down really, really tight. So they'll go in every other slot. That gives that panel, when you crimp it down here, it's hard to see, except for if you're installing it. It sticks out depending on how long the panel, but we normally stick them out about 3/8 of an inch. 3/16. They're short panels. This roof becomes one giant piece when it's all said and done. It's not all these screws everywhere that you have to worry about. So that's where this part of the panel will end up being crimped over and sit in there. And it sticks out just a little bit, because once you have these clips on here, okay, you're going to put 2 screws in. When it expands and contracts, that panel can sit here and move inside this clip. The clip stays stationary on it. With the nail fin, again, those screws that'll be there, that panel can move that little bit. Like that one there, that steel moves more than aluminum. It just does. And when our guys are installing them, really, really long panels, they'll leave a little bit more of a gap down at the bottom. You can't see it because each panel's butted up next to each other. But if you go to a job and it looks like, oh, they don't have it pushed up against it, we don't want it put that tight. We want that for that little bit of movement. That, again, prevents this oil canning that you see with these other roofs. So when you go into a subdivision, you go up to a house, look at neighbor's house. And I always love taking homeowners outside. And it's not trying to be, mean to your neighbor or anything over there, but look at the roof he just had done. And it's all weighty. And he has all these screws that are sticking out. And those screws have a washer underneath of them that are eventually going to dry rot and crack. You have to maintenance them. You have to pay somebody to come out to your house to tighten screws and replace screws. So don't forget, if you decide you want to go that route, you have to do that every 5 to 7 years. Right there, we're putting a doubt in their mind. I don't really want to do that. It's going to cost me more money after you put the roof on. Yeah, to keep it properly maintained. Expansion and contraction, those, screws are going to move. And that's where, if you ever get a chance to take pictures, then show them on your phone. It's like, here, you can see the screws lifted up already. And they're like, whoa. So it's a standing seam snap lock. Snap lock means exactly what it says, that these panels are going to come together. And we're going to snap them together. Oh, that's not coming apart. Unless you get about 180 mile, 200 mile an hour winds, then it might come apart. They've wind tunnel tested these up to 172, the 1.5 inches. The 1 inch is less. I can tell you that they're only, I've seen a few different testings on it, and they're between 125 and 130. That's your best shingle on the market is 130 GAF and others, So it's the equivalent to that. Again, your biggest advantage is going to be hidden fastening. So when this panel is on this roof and we have these, crimped on there, this is what it looks like. You don't see any screws. They're either going to be on that flange or they're going to be on this clip that's on here. There are going to be screws in there. These screws are the clamps, these clips. When we put these on and we put 2 screws in them, these go every 18 inches. There's one that's going to be, when you first do a roof, that first clip is going to be right there. Center of it's within 6 inches of your outside edge. There's one 6 inches from the top up here, and then every 18 inches. That is the strongest system that there is. 2 screws go into each one. That roof right there, you have an exposed fastener that are going to be between 18 and 24 inches that go up the roof. So one, there's not as many fasteners to hold it down. That's why a clip system, higher win rate. Nail fin. What I like to use is good, better, best. Your nail fin, your 1 inch panel, you could sell as the good system. So you could have, a shingle or an exposed fastener roof. And then you could be like, hidden fastener, snap lock panel, 1 inch is really, really good system. For most people, it's the last roof they're going to put on. For the majority of the people on. It's steel. Steel will rust. We are in the state of Florida where there's salt in the air. Wash it off your cars or anything else. Steel, again, is regular metal. If you put water on regular metal and leave a piece of metal out sitting outside, it's going to get rust on it. Okay? We have salt in the air. So that's a really good product. Hidden fasteners, very, very strong. Very strong system. Then you go up to your next one, which would be your better, which would be a clip system. And you can go to Joe or Thomas or anybody and just carry a clip with you so that you can show people that, hey, we can do this good system, putting these screws in here, which are much better than an exposed fastener system. Much better. They're hidden, so we don't worry about expansion and contraction. We have nothing to maintenance. The only maintenance you have to worry about is washing your roof. Washing it? Yep, that's it. And every roof should be washed anyhow to get debris off. There's no debris on it, don't worry about it. But people have a problem with trees, leaves, and stuff. It's just like your car. If you've ever seen an old car that has sat someplace and had leaves sit on it and the leaves decay, it will etch the paint in a car. Mm-hmm. It will do the same exact thing. It will deteriorate, etch the paint. If you're in the middle of nowhere with no trees and leaves or anything, rain washes it all. You're fine. But it's just, same thing like you tell people, hey, you got to wash your car every once in a while. Mm-hmm. Same thing. You got trees and leaves, doesn't matter which one. So you've got a good that you can offer. 1 inch nail fin on there. Honestly, there's a lot of them that have been put on after the storm. A lot. It's a great price point because this doesn't look like a lot right here. It's about $1.50. And some of these roofs, I have a couple thousand roofs that I have to order. This screw right here, again, nobody thinks of it being that expensive. They come in packs of 250, about $75 for a pack. And so if I have 2,000 clips, I have 4,000 screws that have to go in. So right there, these two get very expensive. So that's where this is going to be a great price point for it. Always get the option. But somebody that's looking at shingles for thinking about an exposed fastener roof, now you have the ammunition to go up against that with a much better crop. This crimping together of these panels and them locking together, unlike that, that's just sitting on top of it with a screw that's going to move around. Each panel is locked to the other. It's locked into the bottom. Everybody knows what ridge cap is on top of the house. These are 10-foot long metal ridge pieces. We put another piece of metal at the top, and it gets locked into. And then there's a rivet in between the middle of each panel. So that is locked together. So where you see a house, and I mean, I saw a few from my hotel and stuff, that you see shingles that are blown off just at the top of the roof. That's the ridge. Okay. And again, there's nothing, wind's going to get under it, pop it. With our system, it's completely interlocked together. I wouldn't even need to put a ribbon in it. It's not coming apart. They did when they showed me some testing that, because they try different things. It's like, okay, here, let's do less screws and see how much wind we can get till it blows apart and different things like that. So they do worst case scenarios where, like, oh, someone forgot a screw, someone forgot a rivet. It's still, without rivets and our ridge connected together, was 120 miles an hour before it popped apart. So our system is much better for the homeowner. You're not going to have these issues, unless we have a direct hit from a hurricane. But if you looked at a lot of the tall condo buildings, this is what they had on. Panels are still on. I've got one giant condo building that we're still waiting on doing. A lot of you might have heard of Hurricane Michael, happened almost 6 years ago. We're still doing work up north from that. Hurricanes last a long.
Is it like attorneys or something like that so long?
Insurance companies don't want to pay. This one condo project's about $30 million just in roofing and windows, the two that we're working coincide. I've had to reprice it 6 times because it's like, oh, the prices keep changing. They're like, we're waiting to go to court. They contacted me like a month ago, and they're supposed to be going to court like June or July now. But now we're starting to get more into that here, where people don't have insurance money yet because they're fighting. And they got to keep waiting to get money. There's a lot of work left to be done. I know you guys drive around and you can see how many tarps are still on houses up there. And again, that was one of the worst. It literally took out a whole town of Mexico Beach. There's nothing left. I thought Sanibel or Captiva looked bad. Looked like a bomb. Houses that I had seen a couple weeks before were now giant piles of rubble on the other side of the street. There were nothing. And the next town called Panama City, I was there, I don't know, 2 months ago. And you did a lot of work up there. I guarantee there's thousands of tarps still on houses. Thousands. And this is almost 6 years later. I mean, it's funny. I get a call, every couple of weeks or a month. It's like, hey, finally got an insurance check. People are ready to go. Okay. Now you get a new price. Because we bid that out a long time ago. But it's crazy how that is. That this storm, because it hit such a big area, a wide area, you guys are going to be doing this for a long, long, long. Odds are we'll have, because when was I? Was that 4 years ago? 3 years ago? 3 years ago. Because you were still doing work from Ivan when this one happened.
That's right.
It's never ending.
No.
It's good and bad.
It is. It would be very
It's great for us because it's how we make a living. It sucks for homeowners to have to do it. But now you have that 1 inch is great for the $9 million house.
The one, the one is going to be installed nailed land and clip system, like either or this.
Yeah. We do them the same way. Basically the only difference is we're not putting this in.
So what is the plan you're talking about?
The flag one? Yep. So that skinny panel up there next to the 5V panel, you can see it just has nails in it to hold it up there. And then the panel next to it where the pipe's sticking out, there's clips.
So you can manufacture that on the sheet.
So what we manufacture these,
No, I'm saying like you can say, oh, this is going to be
Plus 1,000
plans like him.
So what we do, how that machine is set up right now, when the manufacturer comes in 2 weeks to do the training on that machine for these guys, that we're going to be running panels. That one will run this exact panel it's 1.5 inches high is the way it's set up. So we start with that roll of metal that's sitting on the front that feeds into that machine, and all these rollers form it, and it comes out the other side like this. This is what will come out.
And on the 1 inch seam, it's only galvalume, right? No aluminum.
Yeah, and again, it's one of these price point things. Can we make it in aluminum? Absolutely. If you're going to go at that point, because aluminum is the best. Yeah.
If you're going aluminum, you might as well go with the clips because they have that price point to increase it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of our scenario that I like to use, and you can, however you guys want to do it, but there's a good, better, and best. Your good is metal. Okay. Your steel. That Galvalume is, it's a step up from that, much better than shingles. So you have a Galvalume. And you have two versions. You have the mill finish, which on your sheet, it's called Galvalume coated, acrylic coated. So that's just the raw metal with clear coat. That is the raw product. You see a lot of them because it is less expensive. We don't have paint on it. So that is like your bare bones. A lot of people like it. It does look good. This is actually the aluminum version and painted, called silver metallic. So that's like your good. So steel, you can, and again, depending on how you guys sell and how you're comfortable and what you like to do, I used to go steel 1 inch, the acrylic coated. We call it mill finish. That's your low ass price point. I mean, it's a really good price point, honestly. It's per square foot, it's almost 30 cents less than the same exact thing painted. So it's price cheap. I could get you guys, most likely, if I did some price comparisons, that painted 5V going to a mill finish 1 inch is going to be damn close in price. And that 1 inch is so much better. So much better. And that's how I would approach people. It's like, yes, I can put this on for you. It's not good. It's not strong. You got maintenance to it. Let's do this here. Here's this mill finish. right down here, or you have your fan deck. It's like that's coated. It's interlock system, 1 inch, great panel, zero maintenance to it. You're not going to have to worry about it. That's exactly what it is right here. That is your 24 gauge. And I mean, it's just a great product. If you want to go from a exposed fastener or shingle, you could put a mill finish roof on people and you're not going up very much. You're giving them 100 times better roof. Say, you know what? If you don't like that, we have these colors available. They're a price increase on same panel, same function, different color. Now, if you want to step up, something's a little better, a little stronger, that we can do higher wind warranties on. And our better product would be going to 1.5 inches with a clip. That could be your better product. I would still price it in steel. Okay. And, we have all these same colors that are available here. But now what we're doing, and all you do is just pull this out of your pocket. Now we're going to have this clip in here and 2 screws per each one of these that are on there. These clips lock that panel, hold that panel down to that roof. Still a full interlock system. We crimp our ends together. Everything's locked together. Your roof becomes one giant piece in the end. We put that on. We have a whole lot of individual pieces that are not locked together, or we have shingles on there that we're just relying on some adhesive to hold that together. I have all these screws on here that are 18 inches apart that are holding this thing down to your roof, and it's not going anywhere. Again, I love analogies where a lot of the roofs, and I mean, you can see them because I was on Sanibel yesterday. There's still ones from before the storm, standing seam panels that are still on there. Most of the time, the only damage you're going to have to this from a hurricane is windborne debris. Tree limb, it pokes through. Sorry, a missile is not stopping a missile. Mm-hmm. Okay. That panel stayed on. That roof most likely didn't leak. When you see like damage on a roof that has a standing seam panel, it's not because that panel was anywhere. Usually it's from the wind inside and literally blew the roof. It's not that I've seen, and it's funny that maybe not funny, but being in the roofing industry, I think it is. I've seen whole roofs on the ground intact.
I was literally just about to say, after Irma, there was a house on Sanibel that we put a standing seam roof on. The decking got ripped off the trusses, and 99% of that standing seam roof was intact on that decking of the house, which was not on the roof anymore. Mm-hmm. So you have a better chance of your house is actually going to get ripped in half, and that roofing system is going to come up here. The cool thing about these panels, like we were saying, the same way the edge of the panel gets clipped, gets hemmed to the edge of the drip edge, they do that same concept going up all the valleys. So in the valleys, they install that piece of metal, that Z-bar, and they hook it around, and it's a solid piece. There's no room for air, water, or anything to work its way up. It's awesome.
It's everything's interlocked together, just like concept. So when you look at another roof that, an exposed fastener or a shingled roof, and everybody knows what a valley is. We know where those two pitches dive together like that. So there's a metal valley that runs on that, but these panels are just sitting on it. And we're again relying on screws to hold those exposed fasteners, to hold that in place. There's a little foam tape that's underneath of it. Yeah. Okay. Again, use analogies, use pictures. It's like, and there's still so many houses, that haven't been replaced. And it's like, look at what happened. You had a tarp on that roof. It's had to be re-tarped because it's still sitting there over a year later. But look at that roof, 3 houses down, that has a standing seam panel on it. Yep, they've had to replace trees. They've had to replace this. They've had to paint. That roof's still on. Any tall condo building that is on the beach has an aluminum standing seam panel on it if it's a pitched roof. It's the only thing that withstands a hurricane. I do a lot of commercial work up north. We do a lot of big condo buildings on the beaches. Um, we've done, I don't know how many, 20, 25-story buildings. They're all aluminum. They're all standing. Something that I'm not going to get too technical about it. Julius knows about it. Bobby knows about it now. My other company up north, I have a different set. If somebody ever asks you, like, hey, I've got this, you're looking at their house, well, damn, I also have a condo that needs to be looked at. Tall condo buildings like that do a standing seam, but it's mechanically locked together. But I have the rollers to do it.
Oh, you have to the
I have the 2-inch.
all the way up.
Yeah.
Can this roll that out or no? Yeah, I can roll out the
That machine there.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's better than the satellite thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And again, we don't want to get technical.
It's
It's nothing that you're ever going to put on a residential house. It's only meant for being up in the sky. But what it does is the panel, it looks similar to this. We put them together. They don't snap together. We have this little robot with wheels and that, and we plug it in. Basically, it runs up the panel and bends the metal. It mechanically locks it together. The only way to get it apart is we have another machine that runs up that literally cuts this whole thing. It cuts the whole strip of metal off. That's how we have to take them apart. They have clips on them. Same thing, screwed together. Those is what an engineer specs for when you get up over 10 stories. We won't put this panel on.
They used to do it by hand, right?
That's how we start the panel. We'll take a hand bender and we start it down there. Then the machine sits on it, runs up. We take it off, and then we crimp the top floor. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Don't even worry about it unless someone asks, and then refer it to Julius. But we can do that because I will throw those. It's on a pallet. It's all those rollers. They'll go in a truck and come down here, and they'll go in that machine, and we can do it.
Please don't sell that. Please don't sell these.
Dude, there's so much money in that, it ain't even funny. We do them. Miguel does them. We can honestly now that thing is sitting here, there's nothing you guys can't do. Honestly, no.
It's literally a
If it was up to me, I'd never put another shingle on a house ever. Because I prefer standing seam. It's the best, strongest. My next thing would be to go to a workhouse or a Morale or Decra, tile look shingle. I've done a lot of those. That is really good because it's a semi-interlocking system. Still has some screws exposed and stuff like that. But the way it goes together, it's way better than a 5V. So there's no reason to put a shingle on it. The only reason is because of money. I mean, but you guys now you can do anything. I know, Julius, you guys were talking about those panels there. They're coated, they're metal, they have a high wind warranty to them. They're great. They're really good. I know that associations and other things, condo complexes, are now accepting those. Taking off clay tile, putting that stuff on. There's no maintenance to it. Again, clay tile, we put it on. I know we're doing a bunch. Maintenance. I love no maintenance. That's why people buy houses that, without vinyl siding. You put hardy board on it. You have stucco and stuff on it. So you don't have to worry about maintaining them and doing stuff to it. This is no maintenance. to it. So you've got a 1-inch panel, great price points, less expensive. Okay. That, depending on where you're located and what people are calling you for, you've got to offer that. You need to offer that panel because now that's what that pallet's for. That Joe can go and they can put those in there, and in about an hour, we can switch that machine over and start running a different panel. But you still sell it as a custom system. You know, we're coming out to your house and custom running these panels on your roof. We're making a custom roof for you. This isn't where these things are coming out from a manufacturer, you know, in pallets and stuff like that. And we've got to cut a whole bunch of stuff. No, we're custom making this to fit your house. I can't take these panels that I'm making for you and put them on your neighbor's house. They're not going to fit. We're going to custom make this. And we're doing that with everyone. 1 inch, inch and a half. You guys got crazy and sold a, 2-inch mechanical. We'll come do that.
The guys, these roofs get tore off, dried in. There's a guy on the roof yelling measurements to the guy that's on the roller, letting those panels by measure. So when he says custom, it's made to order, like a sandwich at Publix.
If I had a customer ask me about if you put solar on top of this, would that void the warranty or no?
So they don't even drill into the panel, they're grabbing
Into the seam?
It's all over your seam. Okay, so this is what we call the standing seam. It stands upright. You got an inch and a half, you got a 1 inch, inch and a half, 2 inch. So, like what Sean says, they now have these clamps that basically it's got these little rubber grommets on it, and they'll go on there and they come off and they have a pad, and it's a clamp. So it's just screwed and tightened down here. We actually, our installers, our guys, that we have clamps that we can put on a steep roof that they literally force pressure. We can walk up a roof. We can walk up a steep metal roof with these clamps that we have. And we have them where we've got a couple sets and they put boards on them. So I don't have to damage a panel on that. So solar doesn't affect them anymore. That was the problem back in the day. And that's one of the other bad things with that panel.
1 inch?
No, with that
5V.
exposed fastener. When I talk bad, I'm always talking exposed fastener. So that screw that they're using, it's actually got a little drill bit basically on the end of the screw. Okay?
You got a bunch of drill.
And so these screws, this is just a small version of them that you look at the little point down there. And a lot of times you'll see guys, they'll put it on there and they have their gun and they'll hit the back of their gun. It basically pierces the metal and starts that screw. If any of you have ever drilled a piece of metal, little curly shavings and stuff come out. Okay? So on that steel roof that they're putting all these exposed screws in, what do you think happens to all that nice, fresh little metal?
And rust. Compromising the vacuum tank.
Yep. Yeah. That's why those roofs right there, you'll see rust so fast. So fast. Now, I'm not going to say we're perfect. We've had to fix a couple. I've had to do it. Our guys forget to blow them up. When we're doing a steel roof and our trim, where we put those rivets, we have to run and trim. Okay? They're supposed to blow the roof off so those shavings go away. Because what happens is those little shavings will sit there, okay, and it'll get rust spots on the paint. It can be cleaned off. And we've had it. So, but if you ever notice it, I mean, let these guys know. But no, our guys, we use a leaf blower. When they drill, they'll blow those little pieces off. Everything that, like those rivets, the other thing that we do that not everybody else does, all of our rivets are stainless steel. So our rivets will not rust. Most guys, when they're putting on that exposed fastener panel, they're using steel screws, steel rivets. This is anything we use that's exposed on a metal roof is stainless. So the only thing that you'll ever see exposed, you will see some of these that will be in some flashings. Yep. And all around that boot up there, that pipe boot, we have to put screws in it to hold it down. We use these. They're all stainless. They're colored. We get them when I order them. If I'm doing, this medium bronze, I order medium bronze. So these will be on a job. And then the rivets that hold together, they're same thing. They're colored, but they're stainless steel. Because we don't want things rusted about the roof.
Where are rivets?
What's that?
Ridge caps.
The ridge caps and flashings. So where you have, let's say we have a chimney sitting right here. Okay. It's interlocked. Everything is interlocked on that roof. And that's where I say that it literally makes it one giant puzzle that comes together. When you put a puzzle together, it becomes one giant piece. Okay. This literally becomes one giant piece when it's all said and done. Because this panel is locked in down there. And then I have nail flange where I have screws or I have clips. That panel is locked. One of the other things is there'll be another screw sitting right here at the top that you'll never see. That just holds the panel in place when they're prepping and they're putting it together. Then that ridge cap locks into a piece which is called the Z flash. Okay, there's a lot of components to a system. Most of it you don't need to know, but you just let people know this is a custom interlocking roof system. No matter if they want to go just with the good 1 inch. We build that roof the exact same way as if we're going to put on the high-end aluminum roof. We install them the exact same. Exact same. We build it the same way. Just a different look. So that panel will be a little narrower, a little shorter here. Not as pronounced. So that's a little different. And then we won't have the clips. The clips make it strong. So you guys have a good system now where 1 inch mill finish right there. That mill finish, again, price point. Because I price them out and stuff, it's not much more expensive on all of our accessories because there's a lot of pieces involved compared to that exposed fastener steel panel. So now you're competitive with a much better price. So that would be my first offer. Then you can say, okay, there's my good. You want a better system? Let me go into this steel panel, but I'm going to put clips in. These clips are stronger. This is going to hold the system down to the roof. Just like what Joe was saying. We had a tornado 3 months ago that hit me up near Destin at Santa Rosa Beach, where I had a house up there. Craziest thing was 3 condo buildings. They were 4-story condo buildings. Tornado came right next to it, and I ordered from Reed's. That's how you give them an eagle view. They do it. Well, it comes out. Ridge was off. We were short. The panels were not long. I had 6 panels on the first job that were not long enough for that exact reason, because that ridge was off in the section of it. Now these panels were 4 inches short. Our ridge it would fit. We had to wait, order new panels. We're doing this custom on your house. Now, all of these panels, doesn't matter if there's a little, idiosyncrasy on the roof. Oh, this isn't square over here. We don't care. We're still making it to fit perfect. So all of these things are going to come in, so there's no gaps. We're not taking a bunch of caulk and trying to fill something in.
What are we doing in regards to the rake trim? Is the machine rolling that as well, or we would order the rake trim?
Well, the machine all machines only make panels.
That's it.
We're still having Freddie's going to make
Okay.
all the trim.
Like a metal shop.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So how that works is, let's say right now, we're making all the panels. We have another metal shop that when I order 4x10 flat sheets of this material. It comes in. It goes over to the metal shop. They cut it down and we make all of this here. So all of that started out on a 4x10 sheet of the flat material. Goes through this giant thing called a shear, cuts it down. Those pieces there are 10 inches. They start out 10-inch wide. So we make a whole bunch of those. Then it goes into this special brake. It's a CNC brake and it starts folding. Comes out to that. That piece right there takes us about 45 seconds to make. Up north at our shop up there, we have 2 machines that we make all that stuff with. We'll get that point. It's expensive and labor to do it, and having the manpower to do it is the other thing. But when we have it all in house, we're really it'll be real nice. Be able to super duper speed everything up. What questions do you guys have? I know you got some. Threw a lot at you. Come on now.
Everybody retained single bit of information that he just went over. So we're going to give you guys a quiz.
Once I hand out the quiz sheet, you can answer them all.
What's the win rating for aluminum?
So that 1-inch panel, the nail fin panel is 130.
Nail fin.
130 for the nail fin. That's the 1-inch panel. The 1-inch seam, what people call it. 170 for the 1.5-inch aluminum clips.
Yep, or steel. Yep. Yeah, either one. And it's because the clip is all the wind force, where this right here can flex. What ends up happening when they've done these, it actually pulls out the metal. The screw stays in and the metal pulls out around the screw.
It's like you were saying earlier, though. You take a sample of this panel right here that has the nailing flange, and you take another one that's just clip lock standing seam to a homeowner. They have no idea the difference between these two panels. All they see is standing seam. So if we're losing or they're entertaining other bids, you have to point out those kind of things to make it oranges.
Yeah. Because that's what, like what I was saying earlier, so many people are here selling, hey, I can put a standing seam panel roof on the house.
There you go.
Here it is, $10,000. We gave them a bid. Yep, it's a standing seam panel, same white metal, da-da-da. We didn't say this is an 1.5-inch snap lock clip system. They didn't say it's a 1-inch nail fin system. Different wind ratings on it, different materials involved in it. They just said standing seam metal ring. And then the price $3,000-$4,000. They're like, oh, I'm not doing one. Standing seam. There's a difference. Big difference to it. A little bit of aesthetics. It's not a lot. I mean, there's a 1/2 inch. The other one sticks up that much farther. So from the ground, you look at it 1 inch. I can see it plain as day. Most people are not going to tell the difference from the ground when you're looking up at the roof. It's how it's put on and it's how it's going to stay. That's the biggest thing. That clip right there going on that panel is 2 screws going in that. Because not on this one, it's underneath of it, holding it down. It's basically sandwiching that section. So that's why the wind ratings are so much higher on that. Where this, when we put a screw through that panel, and whoever installed it did tight. Should never be indented on there. It should just sit like that. So I think it'd be an explosion. So when I put that in there, it can pull apart. With, super high winds, it will tear that metal. You're not tearing, that's an engineered clip. Yeah, but you know, these clips, I mean, they're engineered to design, to not come apart. Not going to rip that metal or anything like that. So that's your big difference between the two. But like I say, so many people sold a 1-inch panel just as a snap lock, standing seam roof. I'm putting standing seam roof on your house. I can do it for this price. They can't tell from the ground. People don't see that going on. They didn't see them just putting screws in like this. They saw it cheaper. They get done. They're a 1 inch at this neighbor, an inch and a half at that neighbor. Average person doesn't tell a damn bit of that. Not at all. So you got to let them know. Good pan. Better than your shingles on the house. Way better than that exposed faster roof. We have a next step up. 130 mile an hour wind. Hurricane Ian was over 130. So that panel can't be guaranteed. Next step is standing seam with the clip. I can put a clip system on here. It has 170 mile an hour wind rating. Hurricane Ian, look about it.
Can you get a higher warranty by adding more bits or?
No. It just costs more money. Does it give it a higher wind rating? Technically, yes. But when we do commercial buildings that are tall, I have a specific way that I have to install. Engineers will come out and they take the wind pressures and they're like, okay, on this 20-story building, we need it to withstand 200 miles an hour. Because even if it's 170 mile an hour winds, I'm there, it's 200. On corners, we have clips 6 inches apart. And we'll run those for about 8 feet. Then they'll come in and they'll go 1 foot for another 8 feet. Then we'll go to 16 inches to the main feed. On a 1, 2, 3-story house, not gonna make a bit of difference.
I guess I'll be back to questions. I've built a couple of these static seams. At what point are you recommending that we install the clips that have the sliding mechanism on? Can I say those?
Yeah, what those are made for is the mechanical.
Is that solely for the mechanical seam?
Yep. Those, they're called the butterfly clip.
Gotcha.
And they're a 2-piece clip that slide. Yeah, and that's made from mechanical. Yep, that's made. That's what we do when it's a mechanical roof.
So no need for a snap lock.
They don't even make them for it. Yeah, I couldn't get them if I wanted. So no, but that's it's this style of clip. I mean, this is a stainless clip, but they all look the same. The galvanized clip looks just like it. It's just not as shiny, is all it is. And it's made of galvanized steel. So you've got your good system now. Nail fin, great roof system. Price point's going to be better. And again, I would always start at that acrylic coated, the Galvalume. Great price point. Then if they say, oh, I really like that, but I want a color. Well, okay, we can do that and we'll go on to a color. You're still going to be more expensive, just for the painting. Then you've got a better system. Painted steel with the galvanized clips. 170 mile an hour wind warranty. Still locked together, still custom. Go aluminum as your best. Never going to rust. Stainless clips, stainless screws. Yes, more expensive. All interlocked. 170 mile an hour wind warranty. This thing is never gonna rust. It's not gonna ever see rust. You're not gonna have to worry about anything. It's gonna last. And then what we touched a little bit on, and not all of your homeowners have dealt with it yet. Have Michael or somebody even just go to the I can't remember what the website is right now, but there's the insurance industry website. You can go and you can print it off that 15 years, your roof is going to have to be replaced with a new roof or your insurance policy will not be renewed. You're going and buying a house. Okay. Someone buys a house and they don't have a good home inspector or anybody like that. They go to get a roof, it's like, or they go get insurance. Oh, no, I just bought a house from these people and need to get insurance on it. Oh, how old's the roof? They said the roof's 20 years old. Well, you have to get the roof replaced. You will not get insurance in the state of Florida on a roof that is 15 years or older. Oh, well, that's a standing seam metal roof. Most fastener roofs, 15 years, nope, you got to replace it. Standing seams are the only ones that they have in there. It's a little loophole thing. And I don't even remember. I don't even think it says it in there. But they're the only ones the insurance companies do not care about. Because they know that's the only thing right there that an inch and a half block standing seam, not the 1 inch, that's the only thing that will stand a hurricane. No other roof can withstand a hurricane. They're not warranted or rated for it. So, hey, you can buy a less expensive roof right now. And I used to always ask them, how long do you plan on staying here? Oh, I'm staying in this house. I'm going to die here. Oh, I used to do that when I used to sell. That was one of the big things that before you had all these options, it was how long do you plan on staying in your home? Oh, I'm just probably sell the house in a few years or that, so I don't want an expensive. Okay, well, here, I'll give you a couple options. Some people, oh no, I just bought this house. We're staying here till the kids are grown and gone and everything. Okay, well, you don't want to replace your roof while you're living here. Here are your options. And again, they have inflation, they have everything. So it's like, well, you can spend $5,000 more right now, and you're going to get the best roof we can put on. It's what goes up on top, 20-story condo builds. It's not going to rust. 170 mile an hour winds and everything on it. Hey, if you put the less expensive roof on, I'll do anything that makes you happy. But that roof is going to need to be replaced by insurance or something else, and within 15 years. Insurance will make you, when you go renew and that roof goes over 15 years old, because it says it right here, you're going to have to replace that roof. So in 15 years, that roof is going to cost you an extra $10,000. So you can spend $5,000 now and never deal with it again. Most insurance companies are giving discounts on a standing seam metal roof. It's less likely the insurance company has to pay out money when a storm happens. So that's the big thing. There's way more advantages than disadvantages when you're going to a metal roof. A lot. And I ordered today, like I say, these, I know you guys have these color cards right now. There are 4 new colors. And I also have the decks, the fan decks are coming. Should have those within a couple weeks for you.
I think it should be mandatory that all these guys, when they're sitting down on these tables with potential clients, homeowners, that they have what's called a roof in the bag, pull out every possible sample you can pull out, the color pans with types of line, things like that. You shouldn't be knocking on these doors at the end. Ever.
We used to do where we did so many goofy little things. Before Ice and Water Shield got popular, that we used to take a piece of felt. We had little Ziploc bags,
Tubs of ripped the felt.
put it in a little bottle of water. You just always had a little bottle of water. Put it in there, and that bottle of water goes black. This is paper with oil embossed in it.
Yeah.
Then we would take, we had little cut pieces, put a piece of Ice and Water Shield on the top of the water bottle. Turn it upside down. Like, wow, that seals it. Yep. And then we had a roofing nail. Stick a roofing nail through it. Turn it upside down. Water doesn't leak out. We're putting this on your entire roof. It's the other thing. When we do a standing seam roof, the whole thing is ice and water no matter what. Are you guys doing it with shingles too?
Yeah.
It looks like for shingles, high tech for better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what, I mean, it's actually cheaper because you got to do double layers and all this stupid stuff. Yeah. So it used to be different in the day. I mean, that's what we used to do. But I'm a big people seen and what I just did it, stomp on that panel. I know Julius was showing you like with the other one. Well, that one over there, that Decra panel, you can see where it's dented because, yeah, you got to walk on them very carefully when you go on those roofs. But I could jump up and down on this thing all day long, and I'm not denting this roof. That panel is not getting hurt. And make that noise, just stomp that panel together and look, holy shit. It's like, yeah, not hurt at all. Showing people and doing those things, it helps out a lot. I used to take out
This machine is made of product that this is like the sandy seam panel, or we can set it up for to produce the 5D panel soon.
No, there is a different machine. We're never going to get one.
This machine we can.
It's a totally different machine. This machine here makes only standing seam.
The sandy seam with the screw or with the.
Yep. So those are rollers that we would put in it. So we can make on site this 1-inch standing seam with the nail fin.
With the
nail flange.
This machine.
Yep, that machine right there. Then we were going to make the other one, which is our 1.5-inch standing seam that uses the clip. Yes, both of those panels, like I say, that's all you need to sell is your good, better, best. Good 1-inch in this is this metal right here, which we call it mill finish. That's what everybody calls it because it's raw, but it has a clear coat over it to protect it. Otherwise, that thing will rust immediately. That's what I would do as my good with this panel because the price, when you price this out, okay, it's going to be about the price of a 5V, exposed fastener panel. And this is 100 times, so much better. When these snap, just like how I snap this other panel goes over here. So it covers all of those screws.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about a washer rusting out or rotting out from the sun. We don't have to worry about a screw ever coming out. There's zero maintenance to it. You know what, Mr. Homer? If you really love that roof, yes, I can sell it to you. But just please be aware that in 5 to 7 years, every 5 to 7 years, you have to call for it to be maintenance. Screws are going to have to be replaced because the washer's dry rotted and cracked, and the other ones are backed out. So the whole roof's going to have to be walked and maintenance. You're looking at thousands of dollars every time. We just did a giant apartment building up in Destin. There was 6 buildings, and we went through and fixed and replaced screws. We had 4 guys out there for a month. I mean, I can't remember how many screws we ended up replacing. The stupid homeowner said they didn't want to pay for new roofs on it. It was like $25,000 to maintenance those roofs. So I'll sell you this roof, but just be aware that you're going to have to call someone or us to maintenance it. We ain't going to maintenance that thing, roof. That's a pain in the ass. But somebody's got to do it. Handymen, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
Up there, I have one guy. So I'm like, here, call this guy. I ain't going to waste my time doing it. But they got to come out and do it because the screws are going to come out. It's natural life. It's physics, it's expansion and contraction. I'm going to put this panel on for you. Just about the same. It's just a little more expensive. We don't ever have to maintenance it again. 130 mile an hour wind warranty on it. It's a really good panel. So we'll put that. But here's one other option. This is a, mill finish. It's coated. It's eventually going to rust. It's just, so I could go to a painted panel, which is a little bit better. It's a little more protection for you. Same custom, all hidden fasteners. You're not going to have to worry about anything. Really want to go, the best way to go. You don't ever want to touch your roof ever again. Let's put a 1.5-inch standing seam aluminum on. Stainless clips, everything's hidden. 170-mile-an-hour wind warranty, not 130. It will never ever rust. It's aluminum. Your house could be underwater and it's not going to rust. So I would do this in the 1 inch. That's my better inch and a half painted steel, best inch and a half aluminum. That's how I personally would do it. You're giving them every option you want. If they want something else, you guys still have everything to do. But for a standing seam, those are the three best things to do. So there you have it.